Hello everyone.
Today, we're going to talk about a truly moving story from a manuscript by the Buddha's Light International Association of Australia. The topic is the story of the prince who gave his body to feed a tigress. A tale you may have heard before. But this isn't just an ancient legend. Behind it lies a profoundly deep lesson about compassion, choice, and the true meaning of life. The protagonist of this story is none other than our original teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. During one of his past lives, long ago, the most baffling question in this entire story is this: why would a prince who had everything and enjoyed a life of luxury sacrifice his own life to save a starving tigress? Doesn't that sound completely illogical? But it's precisely this seemingly irrational choice that is the key we'll explore today. Let's first look at the protagonist. He was a prince, but he had no interest in wealth, power, or status. His heart was set on one thing: cultivation and enlightenment. So, he went deep into the mountains to diligently study with a revered holy teacher, and he quickly revealed an extraordinary, innate spiritual foundation. One day, they observed a tragic scene deep in a valley. A mother tigress had just given birth to 7 cubs, trapped by heavy snow. She was cold, starving, and on the verge of death. The most heartbreaking part: she was so hungry that she was contemplating eating her own cubs to survive. At that moment, the holy teacher asked, "Who among you is willing to go and save this family of tigers?" Guess what? The prince stepped forward without a moment's hesitation. He wasn't sorrowful. He was overjoyed, saying, "This is wonderful. Today is the perfect day for me to fulfill my long-held vow." To us, this is a tragedy. But to him, it was a rare opportunity that he had been waiting for over countless lifetimes. This shows that his act wasn't an impulsive decision. It was the culmination of a great vow that had been sustained over many lifetimes. It turns out that this prince had once vowed to sacrifice his body 1,000 times to save sentient beings. You heard that right, 1,000 times. And by that day, he had already completed 999 of them. So, this starving tigress was the final piece of the puzzle to complete his 1,000th great vow. The prince walked alone to the edge of a cliff. He looked down at the dying mother tigress and her cubs, and an infinite sense of great compassion arose in his heart. Then, he took off his clothes and leaped off the cliff. He used his body, his flesh and blood, to feed the family of tigers, saving their lives. And in doing so, his great vow was finally fulfilled. The story ends here. But are you left with the same big question as me? Wait a minute, sacrificing a bodhisattva who could save countless more people in the future for the life of one tiger? How does that math work out? Many people would also think, what if the tiger survives and goes on to kill other living beings? So, was this an act of foolishness, or a higher form of wisdom? From our ordinary human perspective, this seems incredibly unwise. But if you stand in the perspective of a bodhisattva, it's completely different. This was an absolutely perfect act. Why? Because in a bodhisattva's heart, all life is equal. No one is more noble or more lowly than another. There's another crucial point. Using the pure and sacred body of a bodhisattva for almsgiving has the power to transform a wild beast's aggression. It helps to eliminate their killer instinct, which is itself a form of salvation. So, he didn't just save one tiger. He set an ultimate example of selfless giving for the entire universe. And don't ever think he was being emotional or impulsive. The text specifically mentions that in the moment before he sacrificed himself, the prince entered a very deep state of meditation. In that instant, he attained enlightenment. He realized an ultimate wisdom known as the patience of non-arising dharma, which means he completely saw through the illusion of birth and death. The state of awakening he reached at that time is called the 8th stage bodhisattva. So, his action was a natural result of his perfected wisdom. So, what kind of philosophical view allows someone to so decisively give up their own body? The key lies in how a bodhisattva views their body, which is completely different from how we do. In the scriptures, the prince used a term to describe our bodies: a stinking bag of skin. Think about it. What is this bag filled with? Troubles, suffering, and all sorts of impure things. And it's constantly tormented by the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and wind. One moment, an ache here, the next an itch there. It's also constantly assailed by the 5 desires of form: sound, smell, taste, and touch. From this perspective, this body isn't our true self. It's more like a temporary tool manifested by our karma. So you see, in the eyes of a bodhisattva, this physical body is the source of all evil, a cave filled with suffering, and the root of greed. If that's what it is, why should we cherish and cling to it so much? Instead, a Bodhisattva thinks, I can use this body as a tool for cultivation and to benefit sentient beings, rather than for self-indulgence. Because once you indulge in pleasure, your path to cultivation is basically ruined. Let's listen to the great vow the prince made right before he sacrificed his body. I now give away this illusory life and death to save all sentient beings who are suffering. May all the merits I gain help me quickly attain Bodhi and enable all beings who have not yet been saved to be saved, and all who have not yet been liberated to be liberated. Listen to his entire vow. Is there a single word in it for himself? Not at all. It's all for the benefit of all living beings. Hearing this, you might think, wow, that's way too high of a state. It's so far removed from us. We're not 8th stage bodhisattvas, are we? Don't rush to that conclusion. The master's guidance then gets to the most brilliant part. As he brings this topic of sacrificing the body directly into our everyday lives, this is a question well worth pondering. Aren't we all sacrificing our bodies every single moment? Think about it, aren't the cells in our bodies constantly undergoing metabolism? Isn't our life flowing away, second by second, whether we're willing or not? We are constantly sacrificing our life energy, our time, and our bodies. The crucial question is, since we are all giving, where are we giving away our precious lives? Many people sacrifice for wealth, trading their health and time for money. Some sacrifice for sensuality, becoming entangled in desires and materialism. Some sacrifice for vanity, doing anything for a bit of false fame. Even more tragically, some sacrifice for anger, letting a flash of rage burn away all the merits they have painstakingly accumulated. And many more people sacrifice for various habits and afflictions. You see, every one of us is sacrificing. We just never notice it. Look at the stark contrast. A bodhisattva makes one conscious, wise, and purposeful sacrifice to achieve ultimate enlightenment and benefit all sentient beings. And what about us? We unknowingly, confusedly, and moment by moment, give away our lives and offer them to fleeting and illusory desires. So, let's summarize. What enlightenment can this ancient story bring to us living in the modern world? The core wisdom is this. In the eyes of an awakened person, there is no distinction between I and you. It's like the waves on the sea. Each wave looks different, right? But at their root, don't they all come from the same vast ocean? From this perspective, saving others is actually completing ourselves. The results of these two types of sacrifice are worlds apart. What do our daily sacrifices bring us? Wealth and fame, things that will soon disappear. But a bodhisattva's sacrifice is aimed at eternal enlightenment. One choice keeps us trapped in a cycle of suffering, while the other leads to ultimate liberation. This final question is left for each of us to answer. Our original teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha, set the most ultimate example for us. Of course, we cannot do what he did and sacrifice our bodies to feed a tigress. That's too difficult. But we can start to reflect right now, since I am also constantly sacrificing my life. What am I sacrificing it for? Think about this question carefully, because your answer might just change the way you see every single moment of your life.